Brought to you by Grammarly.
The worst has happened. You're making breakfast when you drop your toast on the floor. You quickly snatch it up before long and inspect it for dirt.
3-second rule.
You don't see anything, so you think to yourself, 5-second rule, before buttering one side and chowing down before school.
Oh God, I do that all the time.
Scream, I'm dirty, like the bathroom floor. But some don't immediately unveil themselves as carriers of filth and disease.
God.
Are certain
God,
surfaces less likely to transfer dirt, grime, and bacteria to your food, like ceramic or wood flooring? Is the 5-second rule a myth? Or is it a truth universally acknowledged? When your beautiful slice of buttered toast lands square on the floor of your kitchen, do germs latch on immediately?
Yes.
Or is there a window in time that even the most malevolent microorganisms wouldn't be able to grab on? Wait, bacteria know about the 5-second rule, right?
No, they don't. I'm pretty sure this is what's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be one of those things where it's like the immediately. Oh God, hair on the bread? No, don't do this to me. Don't do that to me. Don't tell me there's hair on the bread.
The 5-second rule is somewhat unclear. According to writers Paul Dawson and Brian Sheldon in their book, Did You Just Eat That? The concept can be traced back to the court of Genghis Khan, the evil ruler of Mongolia who conquered pretty much everything between Korea and Poland. Oh, and also maybe brought the Black Plague to Europe in the early 13th century?
That's possible.
That guy. The myth goes that the Great Khan implemented a system called the Khan Rule. Any food that had fallen on the ground would be good to eat as long as the Khan allowed it. The Khan was so great that any food that was up to his standards would still be good, even if it sat on the dirty floor for 12 hours.
Oh, dear.
Delicious 12-hour aged floor beef.
Oh, God, that's not good.
Historians generally pin the death count of Genghis's conquest between 37 to 60 million people.
Holy crap.
Maybe dictating what food people were allowed to eat wasn't his most grievous character flaw.
No, holy crap, that's 30, 60 million people. That's a lot. She doesn't have a nose! She is the one you, oh God. It's Voldemort. It's a Voldemort woman. It's a Voldemort woman. Holy crap.
She grabs it quickly and throws it back into the pan.
I saw that. I saw that Voldemort woman.
I didn't have the courage to do it the way I should have, but you can always pick it up if you're alone in the kitchen. Who's going to see?
Julia Child, it's her fault.
Who's going to see?
She is Voldemort.
The written iteration of a rule comes to us via Olympic gold medalist Brad Allen Lewis's.
They're all Voldemorts. Why?
Rowing coach.
Why are they all Voldemorts? Why do they have no nose?
The floor was still considered edible.
Oh, okay, he's fine. The other ones look like Voldemort.
The next shows up in 2001 in the animated film Osmosis Jones. Bill Murray fights a monkey for an egg, dropping it on the bottom of the zoo cage before eating it, sending his body into a terrible death spiral from the villainous Red Death pathogen, which the titular white blood cell, Osmosis Jones, must defeat. By the time the 5-second rule was showing up regularly in media, the idea that germs were attaching themselves to our food was likely already in the minds of the average person at home.
Yeah, you don't do that.
How did we get here? How did we first figure out that it was tiny creatures making us sick, and not like ghosts or something?
Well, I mean, it used to be
unseen
ghosts.
Animals and particles in our environment could trigger illnesses is older than one might expect. As far back as 36 BCE, Roman philosopher Marcus Terentius Varro wrote that there are bred certain minute creatures which cannot be seen by the eyes, which float in the air and enter the body through the mouth and nose, and there cause serious diseases. The problem is, even if you nail it on the first try, it doesn't matter if no one believes
That's
it.
true.
Just like my Pokemon Nuzlocke run.
They just saw
it wasn't until we had access to
saw him as a
powerful
crazy
magnification that anyone could prove this theory one way or another. Two men are generally credited with the discovery of microorganisms. The first, Robert Hooke, coined the term cell to describe the microscopic holes he saw in a slice of cork circa 1665. He saw the wells of individual cork cells laid out and thought they looked like cells in a monastery. Unfortunately, to be able to see bacteria and animal cells, even stronger magnification was necessary. The second, Antony van Leeuwenhoek, managed to pull exactly that in the 1670s. He developed his own
look like
Voldemort. To see
Why?
even the smallest cells. And by all accounts, the microscope he made for this discovery was awkward at best. The lens was as large as a grain of rice, so Leeuwenhoek had to jam his eye right up against it to actually see anything. He saw sperm cells, blood cells, protozoa, bacteria, and algae cells too, dubbing them little animals. Because of these two men, germ theory found its beginning, though it would take another 200 years
germ warfare
to
and
connect
germ theory.
these little animals to disease. And with that knowledge, the 5-second rule followed. How else should we make ourselves feel better about eating an apple slice that fell on the ground after we just learned that it could be covered in gross little
like
monsters
bread,
that can make us
apple,
sick?
anything like that,
easy.
I'm probably
We come up with
not
a cute
gonna
lie.
eat it.
But
Like
is
a
the 5-second
corn
rule
chip,
just
it's
that?
fine.
Well, lucky for us, food safety specialists Robin Miranda, PhD, and Donald
They
W.
all
Schaffner,
look
PhD,
like
were
Voldemort. What the
determined to
hell's
find
going
the answer.
on?
In a 2016 study, Miranda
sorry,
and
it
Schaffner
just
contaminated
weird
4
to
different
me, I'm
surfaces to see which foods and which surfaces are particularly at risk for bacterial adherence. They picked the bacteria Enterobacter aerogenes because it's non-pathogenic, which means it doesn't make you sick, but sticks to surfaces similarly to salmonella. The 4 surfaces for their experiment were stainless steel, ceramic glazed tile, maple laminate wood, and indoor-outdoor carpet. The foods were watermelon, white unbuttered bread, white buttered bread, and gummy bears. The researchers disinfected everything, if possible, before trials. Miranda and Schaffner then made up a total of 128 contact scenarios, replicating each of them 20 times, totaling 2,560 total contact measurements.
Hey, that's not bad.
You know, everyone loves science until they're pressing a watermelon slice on carpet for the 160th time. So, what were their findings? Well, as it turns out, bacteria on a surface transfers onto your food pretty much instantly.
I knew it.
Like any food dropped on the ground, the 5-second rule is destined for the trash. Or is it? When it comes to materials and foods, some are worse than others.
I know.
Take a wild guess which was the worst.
Bread.
If you guessed watermelon, you'd be exactly right.
Really?
It seems almost obvious that the wetter the food, the more
Oh
it can pick up
yeah,
from the
wet.
floor.
You're right. You're
Now,
right. You're
take
right.
a wild guess which one had the least bacterial transference. If you guessed the gummy bear, then you're 2 for 2. Generally, the study found that the moisture of the food is the biggest factor in how quickly bacteria can hitch a ride.
Okay.
Foods with a higher moisture level collected more bacteria, and vice versa. They also found that longer contact times resulted in more bacteria. Now, of the 4 surfaces, which one do you think transferred the least bacteria to the food? It's carpet. Carpet. Fuzzy, hairy carpet transferred the least amount of bacteria.
Less,
How wild
less,
is that?
less
Anybody-
contact area.
Okay. Instead of lying flat
Contact
against
area.
the entire surface,
Yeah.
the fluff makes it so very little of the food is actually in contact with the whole thing at once.
Yep.
In comparison to tile and stainless steel, carpet had a very low transfer rate, but wood
knew.
was less consistent. Schaffner and Miranda note at the end of their research that this research shows that the 5-second rule is real, in the sense that longer contact time resulted in more transfer. It also shows that other factors, including the nature of the food and the surface, are of equal or greater importance. The reality of the situation is best summed up by the venerable
if you
Michael
drop
Stevens,
Jell-O on the floor,
best known
don't
by
eat
his
it.
stage name, Vsauce.
Oh yeah,
He notes that
Vsauce.
the
I remember
concept
him.
of touch at a molecular level is a lot more complicated than it might seem to our macro perspective. He says the 5-second rule may be true if we rename it the 1 femtosecond rule. Spend less time on the floor than that, and it's unlikely that room temperature molecules would have time to be influenced by intermolecular forces. That's a bunch of big words to say. If you can pick up your food in less than a quadrillionth of a second, you can rest easy knowing that the only bacteria on your food was already there to begin with.
Okay. But see, I won't be able to. I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to do that. It's just not. It's not possible. It's not possible.